chào quý vị và các bạn. Chào mừng quý vị và các bạn đến với chương trình TIS Conference. Mình là Bích Thủy, giám đốc học vụ của chương trình quốc tế của TIS. Đây là chuỗi chương trình tư vấn tâm lý giáo dục học đường của TIS và được phát 2 tuần một lần vào sáng thứ Bảy hoặc là sáng thứ Ba lúc 10 giờ trên fanpage chính thức của TIS. Và quý vị và các bạn nhớ theo dõi để chúng ta nhận được những cái tư vấn bổ ích từ chuyên gia nhé. Và hôm nay chúng ta cùng đến với buổi chia sẻ có chủ đề bật mí những lợi ích của việc học tiếng Anh sớm ở trẻ. Chúng ta có được cơ hội được gặp gỡ với thầy Brian Fries đến từ Michigan, Hoa Kỳ, là giáo viên của trường TIS.
Good morning. I'm really happy to have you here with us. This conference about English learning, early English learning among kids, and nowadays, like in Vietnam, parents are really concerned about their kids' English learning, and some of them really want their kids to expose to English as early as possible. But some some are really reluctant to do it because they are afraid that the early English language learning can maybe harm their mother tongue learning. So can you please give me just share what kind of age range is suitable to the English learning among kids?
So English, like every other language in the world, the earlier you're exposed to it and the more you're exposed to it, the easier it is to pick it up. Everyone in America speaks English, and we didn't go to school to learn English. We learned it from our parents. Just like in Vietnam, everyone here learns Vietnamese from their parents, then they go to school to refine it. But more exposure to more languages helps kids acquire languages quicker and easier.
So do you have any scientific background or support to this opinion?
So there's numerous research that supports this opinion. Many periodical files have been published. I have been a teacher for 8 years now, and I can tell you that the children that are exposed earlier have the easiest time acquiring new languages.
I also, actually before this conference, I also try to find some scientific research about it, and the most outstanding one is the language acquisition device by Noam Chomsky. Do you know him? It is really a famous linguist, and he said that in the brain, in the kids, the human brain, there is a kind of device that can enable quick acquisition of vocabulary or grammar, and then this device can tend to weaken as the kids gets older, and yeah.
So I read that article. It was many years ago, but as far as I know, he was talking about ages from 1 to 3, and then past 3, it gets more and more difficult to acquire new languages. Not that it's impossible, it's just we are naturally attuned to picking up languages at that young age, and if they're exposed to any language, English, Vietnamese, Spanish, it doesn't matter, they'll pick it up easier at that younger age.
And anything else? Do you think that some people believe that the brain, the brain of the kids, they are developing until they're the age of 20s, and then it will after 20s it can be really it is fully formed, and so learning a new language during this, before 20s is better for the brain. Do you think so?
So the newest research has said that 25 years old, the brain is fully developed. And while it is easier to learn a new language before you're 25, it's not impossible after. I myself am learning Vietnamese. I'm older than 25. It is difficult, but it's not impossible. It takes far more work and far more effort. And it's just an easy way to give your kid an advantage if you expose them earlier.
And do you think that when the kids, they don't have like have more free time, or their brain tend to relax compared to the adults, like they don't have to worry about like earning money or like running around doing things like so it's better for them to they have more time and more concentration to learn a new language.
So they definitely have more time than adults that have learned a new language, but I wouldn't say they have more concentration. Most kids are not very good at sitting down and concentrating. That's why you expose them into a full immersion environment where they're not actively trying to learn. It's more passive. They hear chair and they think of chair instead of Vietnamese word for chair, or table. So if they're spoken to in day-to-day conversation, they'll pick it up easier than trying to sit down with a book.
So you mean that for the kids, we need more like wide range of like really active activities so that the kids can be engaged in the language learning.
Activities is one of the best ways to engage language learning because it involves multiple areas of your brain and it gives you a kinetic sense of what the word is, so it's easier to recall it later on.
And what about the accent? Do you think it's better for the kids to gain like more native-like accent if they learn English as early as possible?
So accent is kind of a debated topic among linguists. The American accent is called the neutral accent because when people sing in English, they often sing an American accent even though they don't have an American accent themselves because it's an easier way to pronounce. But English is a special language, is that even with a harsh accent, a heavy accent, you can be understood by native English speakers. But to acquire that native level accent, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of usage. So if you wanted to pick, say, a British accent, you would want them exposed to people who speak a British accent, tutors, teachers, YouTube videos, all the same. If you want to go to American, you go with the American option. And it really depends on what you're trying to cultivate.
And some parents are really they really want their kids to have like native-like accents, so they try to find like native speakers like Americans or English, for example. So do you think it's really necessary to have those teachers for their kids at early ages?
It's crucial if you want the accent. Like I said, English can be understood even with a bad accent. It's one of the special things about the language. But to achieve that kind of neutral accent, the American or British or Irish, whatever it is, you really need to be exposed to it so you can pick it up naturally. So you elongate your O's in the right spot or you stress the right vowel. It's not something that's easily taught. It can be. It is taught in university level, but most parents don't want to wait for the university level to get that native language kind of fluency. So it's much easier if they're exposed earlier and often, and they can pick it up by the time they're 5 or 6, as opposed to 20 or 21.
So is it really important for you, I mean, in your opinion, is it really important to have a native-like accent? Or is there something more important than that?
So the essence of communication is understanding. If I can understand what you are saying, then I am going to be happy with whatever accent you have. The accent is a bonus, a plus. It's something to promote yourself later on. It's not something that you are required to have.
Some students, some parents, like because they just want to create a really native-like environment for their kids, so they are more likely to play videos like from YouTube, for example, for the kids to learn English. So do you have any advice for those parents?
So YouTube is a great resource. It has multiple videos and multiple accents, and exposing your child to that kind of accent is great. But I also would say that video games, online video games, where they're speaking with other people from other countries, and they're also exposed to a more natural accent, is another great way to pick up the accent if that's what they're going for, because they have to practice in English, they're speaking in English, and it's not necessarily a teacher, but it's much more of a fluent, natural way of speaking.
So I also have 2 kids, and I don't really like the fact that some parents really they just play the YouTube with the kids to watch live for 1 hour or 2 hours like by themselves. I prefer the parents to join with the kids. Watching the videos with them, and we have some questions, interrupting during the videos, so that they can have like really interactions, and also after the watching the videos, they can have more activities related to that video to like kind of revise with them. So the things that they learn from the video. But some parents are not, they don't know English, or they cannot speak English well. So do you have any advice to these parents? Yeah.
So
do they really like have to learn English by themselves, or maybe is there any other way to so that they can help their kids to learn English better?
So you have the advantage of speaking English and Vietnamese, so your children are exposed to both, and you can be actively involved in what they're doing. And you're right, most parents here don't have that advantage. So one of the best ways is to communicate with the school that they're at, communicate with the teacher, and ask the teacher for any recommendations of videos, any worksheets they could do, any follow-up activities they could do, and use it with your child to reinforce what they've seen on the video. But you have a teacher available, you have native English speakers available, you need to utilize your resources and just ask questions. Most teachers are more than willing to help you because we enjoy parents who take an interest in their education, their kids' education.
There are 2 opposing opinions about early language learning. Some parents, as I said before, some parents really want the kids to learn English as early as possible, but some others really afraid of afraid that this early learning of a foreign language can affect badly the mother tongue. So what do you think about like bilingual
upbringing? So I don't know why it's controversial. As far as I know, there is not a language on earth that cannot be spoken by humans. Every human can learn how to do every language. It's a matter of exposure, time, and effort. You mentioned that they're worried about younger age kids not learning a second language because it might affect their mother tongue. I've read about constructed languages, and there was a speaker of Klingon, which is a constructed language for a sci-fi show. He taught his kid Klingon and English, and his kid grew up speaking both this constructed, made-up language and English, both perfectly, with no flaws. So the human brain is amazing. It acquires information at a rapid pace, and one doesn't affect the other. One can enhance the other, actually.
I also work in education for many years, and I've met some kids who speak English better than Vietnamese, and they even enjoy speaking English more than Vietnamese, and it's makes their parents worried. And have you ever met that kind of those kind of kids? And are there any reasons behind it, or is it like, yeah?
I've met several kids like that, and normally what it comes down to is personality. They were exposed early, they liked it, and they use it more. They use it more and they're better at it. That's just how it is. You practice something more, you get better at it. They speak to their friends in English. They speak to their parents in English. They speak to whomever they can, always in English. It's their default tongue. It's not their mother tongue, but it's their default tongue. And they just enjoy speaking English, therefore they practice it more. Yes, their other native language might lack a little bit, but that's because they don't practice it and aren't spoken to or speak in that language enough. So if a parent's truly worried about that, then they could speak to that child only in their native tongue some days and then only in English other days, just to make them practice and switch back and forth.
Thank you very much for spending time with us today and giving really interesting information and opinions about early language learning.
Great, no, thank you.
Yeah, hope you enjoy time with TIS.
Yes.
Quý vị và các bạn thân mến, năm nay TIS sẽ kỷ niệm 25 năm ngày thành lập trường. Do đó chúng tôi có rất là nhiều ưu đãi và học bổng dành cho học sinh nhập học vào năm học này. Và quý phụ huynh nào có quan tâm đến chương trình từ mẫu giáo đến lớp 12 của trường, xin vui lòng liên hệ trực tiếp qua hotline 028 3844 2345 hoặc xem chi tiết trên website tis.edu.vn. Đến đây thì Bích Thủy xin chào tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại quý vị và các bạn trong các chương trình tiếp theo. Chúc các bạn thật nhiều niềm vui và hạnh phúc nhé. Chào tạm biệt.